When there are this many lies, even a jury struggles to know which version to believe. Jodi Arias didn't just tell one story. She told four. First, she claimed she wasn't there. Then she said it was the intruders. Then she claimed she had no memories of what had happened. And finally, she said she acted in self-defense. Each time a new evidence comes up, Jodi's story will change. But all of this yet, the crime scene told a different story. This murder case didn't start with violence. It started with a relationship that became intense, passionate, and impossible to walk away from. On June 4, 2008, Travis Alexander was found dead in his house in Mesa, Arizona. He was discovered dead in his shower, his body curled in a fetal position. He had been stabbed a dozen of times. He was shot in the head and his throat was slashed. The brutality of this murder stunned everyone who knew him. It wasn't a forced entry, neither was it a burglary. It was personal. And the investigators were so focused on one person, his one-and-a-half girlfriend, Jodi Arias. Before we talk about how Travis Alexander died, you need to understand who Travis was, who he trusted, and why he never saw this coming. So who was Travis Alexander? Travis Victor Alexander, born July 29, 1977, in Riverside, California. His parents were meth addicts and were pretty much not around. He has 7 other siblings, so they had to fend for themselves. He had a rough childhood, so he had to go live with his paternal grandparents. He would get into a lot of fights until his grandmother introduced him to the Mormon faith. He then converted to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Dedicated to his religion, Travis tried to change his life. He moved to Mesa, Arizona, where he got a job with prepaid legal services, a multi-level marketing company. He made a lot of friends. He was well-liked, funny, highly spirited. He became a motivational speaker, speaking at events about personal success, life, and religion. So who was Jodi Arias? Jodi Arias, on the other hand, had a more ideal childhood. Her parents were very much around. Born on July 9, 1980, in California, she was the oldest of 3 siblings. According to Jodi, her parents would become abusive when she turned 7. She mentioned her father would shove her into the chair and her mother would carry around with her a wooden spoon which she would use to beat her. According to Jodi, her parents would beat her at least 4 times a week, although her parents would come out to deny all of it. But one thing we realize about Jodi is this. She had a version she told people about herself, and there's this version that people get to discover after meeting with her or after having a relationship with her. So at the age of 14, Jodi was caught by her parents growing and storing marijuana at the store of their house, at the rooftop of their house. She dropped out of 11th grade and would work different odd jobs until she got a sales job at Prepaid Legal Services, the same company with Travis, but in California. So how did Travis Alexander and Jodi Arias meet? In September 2006, Prepaid Legal Services was holding a work convention in Las Vegas. An all-expense-paid trip to Vegas for its employees and different team members to come together for a speaking engagement. Travis and Jodi would meet in one of those nights where the team members are having dinner at Rainforest Cafe. They're all outside the line waiting to be called in. Travis sights Jodi, walks up to her and introduces himself. And boom, there was a connection. On one hand was Travis, who was smitten by Jodi, and on the other hand were his friends and co-workers who were rooting for the both of them. Apparently, Travis had been single for a while. These two would talk about different things all through the night. Life, religion, you name it. The conversation must have felt so good because the following day, Travis would tell his friends that he wants to spend the rest of his life with Jodi. But there was one problem. Travis was Mormon, Jodi isn't. So the work convention has ended, the two had returned to their respective houses, they exchanged contact and would communicate. In between all of this, by the way, was Jodi's boyfriend, who was a divorcee and had decided that he wasn't going to marry again. But Jodi, she wants marriage, so they broke up. Travis was still trying his hardest to get Jodi to have a good impression of the Mormon religion. He gave her the Book of Mormon, invited her to his church a couple of times, and was sneaking Bible quotes here and there in their conversation. One time, Travis had Mormon missionaries go to Jodi's house. I mean, imagine you are at home, busy upstairs, and you hear a knock, and then you open the door, and then you find a set of Mormon missionaries, and they ask you, hey, do you know where you're going to after you die? If you think that was all, that isn't. Travis gave Jodi some Jesus paintings and shared his church president's biography with her. I guess this must have worked because 2 months later, in November 2006, Jodi would convert to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and was baptized by Travis. And in February 2007, these two were officially dating. All this for what exactly? What was Travis and Jodi's relationship like? Travis and Jodi had something I would call a passionate relationship, with things becoming messy and freaky than their religion would allow. So still maintaining a long-distance relationship, these two would call and email often. They would take lots of pictures together. They would go on vacations together. They even had a book that contained a long list of places they would like to visit. During the course of their relationship, Travis and Jodi exchanged a total of 2,000 emails, and they sexted often. They had an active sexual relationship with Jodi, who has a love for photography and art stuff, would bring in a camera to capture the moment for memory's sake. And Travis, on the other hand, would call Jodi his kryptonite. At some point, Travis started feeling guilty about all of this because of his religion. In Mormon religion, premarital sex is a sin. It's not allowed. But that was not where the problem started. The problem started because of Jodi's possessive and obsessive nature, which started revealing itself inside the relationship. So yes, still maintaining a long-distance relationship, Jodi would go visit her boyfriend, sometimes in his house. And it was during this time that Travis's friend realized how obsessive and possessive Jodi is. She would follow him everywhere. To the bathroom? Yes. Travis stands up to go to the bathroom and Jodi would follow in, saying she also wants to use the bathroom, and would wait outside of the door until it's done. Whenever a call comes in for Travis, Jodi would be like, what's that? If she would act through his stuff, read his emails, it started becoming weird and frustrating. All of this was what Travis's friend saw, and they had advised their friend to end things with Jodi because of our obsessiveness could lead to something dangerous. And I guess they were right. In fact, one of Travis's friends opened up to Jodi and told her that they don't think she was a good fit for their friend because of how possessive she is. And Jodi would say, okay, what does Travis think? Eventually, Travis and Jodi breaks up, with Travis telling her not to ever contact him again. But Jodi, she still tried her luck. She would leave voicemails, send emails, try to contact Travis, but no, he tried his best really, but it didn't work. Even after their relationship had ended, Travis and Jodi would still have sex for over 9 months. Jodi would move to Mesa, Arizona to be closer with Travis without informing him. Mind you that the relationship had already ended. She would go to Travis's house without informing him. She would pull up unannounced, peek through his windows, hack through his stuff like she always does. Even when Travis started seeing a new lady called Lisa, Jodi couldn't take it. She would peek through the window. She would try her best to do anything to try and separate the both of them. It got to a point where Jodi would go to Lisa's house in the night and knock on the window and knock on the door. I don't know, just a crazy thing that she did. Anytime Travis goes to visit Lisa, she would puncture his tires. It was that crazy.
Anyway, Lisa decided that she couldn't take it anymore, so she decided to end whatever was going on. Eventually, Travis was able to convince Jodi to return to California. And in April 2008, Jodi would return to Eureka, California to stay with her grandmother. Everything seemed like it had gone back to normal. No more crazy ex, Jodi had gone back to a love for photography. She even found a new love interest, a man named Ryan Mormon, successful, but was based in Utah. Travis, on the other hand, as well, had found someone, a lady named Mimi, at a LSD Mormon singles night. He liked her and wanted to spend the rest of his life with her, but Mimi didn't feel the same way. So where did it all go wrong? So Travis was planning for a work trip to Cancun, Mexico. He was excited. He was working hard. He had even invited Mimi to Mexico, hoping that would get her to see him in a different light, which she agreed. The trip was supposed to be on June 10, 2008, and there was an important work trip prior to that day, which Travis was supposed to be present, but for some reason it was absent. Everyone was worried because that was not the type of person Travis was. Travis wouldn't miss an important work meeting. No one had heard from him, not even Mimi was supposed to go with him the following day to Cancun, Mexico. Worried, his friends and Mimi pulled up at his house, knocked the door. They got no response. So they felt the need to go in through the garage. Confused as to what was going on, Travis's roommate comes out, asks them what is going on. They would ask Travis' roommate if he had heard from Travis. Travis's roommate responded and said he had gone to Cancun. At least that was what he knew to the best of his knowledge. The friend said no, Travis hadn't gone to Cancun, and in fact no one had heard from him. Eventually they got into Travis's apartment with the help of a spare key that the roommate had. So they went inside, but what they would find would shock them to the bone. So they opened the door and were met with this huge stench. Yes, their eyes looked to the ground and there were blood stains everywhere on the floor in the master bedroom. They walked further into the room and there it was. Travis viciously murdered in a shower, crawled in a fetal position in a stand-up shower. There were blood stains everywhere, on the zinc, on the tile floor of the bathroom. Mimi couldn't stand the horrid sight, so she stepped outside and called the police immediately. And when the police would arrive and they would ask, who do you think would do something so awful? Without hesitating, they all said, Jodi. Jodi, crazy Jodi. So where was Jodi when all of this happened? On June 2nd, 2008, Jodi had planned to visit Ryan, a new love interest in Utah. So she went to rent a car. She rented a white car, went to the gas station, filled up, but for some reason her phone went off. Her phone wouldn't come back on for hours. She claimed it had died, but when it would come back on, it revealed that Jodi did not arrive in Utah until June 5th. So the question is, where was Jodi during this time? Did her phone actually go off, or did she intentionally turn it off? Anyway, the investigators would uncover the truth in the most unexpected place: a black camera in a washer. Although its memory had already been destroyed when it was discovered, but when it was recovered on June 19th, the photos told a chilling story. On June 4th, the night that Travis Alexander died, there were photos of him naked, in bed, in the shower, completely vulnerable. And on a photo timestamped 5:30 p.m., Travis was captured looking directly into the camera, water dropping down on him. But photos after that revealed the unthinkable. Jodi attacking Travis in the shower, stabbing him multiple times, dragging him back into the bathroom while he tried running away and slashing his throat, then shoots him in the head. Jodi tries to erase all evidence. So she deleted the pictures, cleared up the beddings, and threw them into the shower. When met with the evidence, Jodi kept denying. She said she wasn't to be blamed. In fact, she doesn't know anything about it. When brought in for interrogation, Jodi sang songs, smiled, and even did headstand in the holding cell. So the DNA testing revealed that Travis's and Jodi's blood were mixed. And when they asked Jodi about it, she responded and said, "My DNA was already in the room." Let's talk about the trial. During the trial, Jodi's story kept shifting. She kept telling lies on hand. First, she claimed self-defense, saying she did all of that to protect herself. Then she claimed they were attacked by intruders. Then she claimed she had no memories of what had happened. In fact, she didn't stop there. Jodi even said she didn't realize she had shot Travis until she was driven miles away from his house, claiming whatever must have happened was not a conscious act. So Jodi's lies wasn't limited to all that she had said. She tried to ruin Travis's reputation. Knowing the fact that the Mormon religion doesn't accept premarital sexual relationship, she tried to use that in court to her advantage to paint a bad picture of the kind of personality and character Travis had. One time she said she walked in on Travis pleasuring himself while watching the video or a photo of a young boy, claiming that Travis is a pedophile. She even went on to say that she cannot go into details about their sexual relationship and that if she had gone deep into what their sexual relationship was like, it would ruin Travis's reputation. Anyway, on May 8, 2013, the jury found Jodi guilty of a first-degree murder. The crowds outside the court were elated. They were overjoyous. Travis's family, who were seated in the court during the court trial, were relieved that finally Travis was getting the justice that he deserved. But one interesting thing happened during this moment. During the sentencing, Jodi comes into the court wearing a shirt with the word survivor boldly written on it. According to her, she's a survivor and she had dealt with abuse and she had to deal with a man who is a manipulator, control, and abusive. The thing was that initially, Jodi had pleaded death penalty, saying death penalty would be her ultimate freedom as she couldn't stay in prison. But during the sentencing, by the time of the sentencing, Jodi would plead that her life is spared, that she wants to donate her hair, she wants to spend the rest of her life, helping domestic abuse victims. But all of this, the jury were able to see through the dramatic appearances. They were able to see through her drama. During the penalty phase, the jurors would finally decide that Jodi is guilty and they give her a life imprisonment without a possibility of a parole. So in March 2020, Jodi tried appealing, but it didn't work out. So as of now, Jodi Arias is still in the Arizona prison system, and she's still occasionally writing and selling her artwork. The question is, how someone like Jodi Arias, the culprit in this case, could hold on to a lie and make it a reality? Because till the end, Jodi claims that she was a survivor. Travis was a manipulator, an abuser, and would abuse her, right? So she held on to that truth despite the fact that there was so many evidence to that points at her being a vicious murderer. I think at the end of the day, this just shows that Jodi Arias is indeed a pathological liar. Because unlike many culprits who has already been caught, there are evidence showing they're responsible, they would tell the truth. They'll say, fine, I've been caught, yes, I did it, so do what you want to do. But in this case, Jodi wasn't like that. She held on to a lie. And the audacity for her to even appeal. But anyway, that is the case of Jodi Arias and Travis Alexander. Thank you for watching. See you again in my next video.